We have Odell Beckham Jr. making his Rams debut, ironically 1 week after losing Robert Woods for the season, unfortunately. So that's a lot to break down today on the Run the Sims podcast. I'm your host, Adam Wilde. We have San Francisco at home plus 3.5 with a 50-point over-under. We have a couple injuries on the LA side of the ball. Of course, Robert Woods is going to be out for the year. You've also got Ben Skowronek. He's on the injury report. He did not practice on Saturday heading into week 10 versus the 49ers. But Sean McVay did say that he would be taking Robert Woods' role. So Odell Beckham is not slotting in right away as the starting receiver. Odell Beckham will be the fourth receiver. And Ben Skowronek is set to be the starter should he play. Right now we have him projected for 4% market share, 3% touchdown share. So we're projecting him in currently. San Francisco side of the ball, you've got injury to JaMychal Hasty. He's been ruled out already. Deebo Samuel is injured, but he was just a limited participant. He's fine going into week 10. And then you've got something for Mohamed Sanu. He's being ruled out. It doesn't say exactly why he is ruled out, but we will not have Mohamed Sanu. So let's head over to the optimal results. So the theme of this show is going to be how did the 49ers compare to the Rams from a point per dollar perspective, because all the Rams players are more expensive than the 49ers players. But from a point per dollar perspective, you're actually getting better value out of all of the San Francisco 49ers players, which you'll see in just a moment with the custom lineups. You're going to see tons of 49ers 4x2s and 5x1s appearing because you're getting discounts from these 49ers players, but you're not taking too much of a hit in terms of comparable medium projection. So you've got Cooper Kupp appearing in 43% of the flex with 18% at captain, but you have Deebo Samuel at $3,000 less, appearing 39% in the flex, but 22% at captain. You have Matthew Stafford at 50% in the flex, 6% at captain. Darrell Henderson, 41 in the flex, 11 at captain. Elijah Mitchell, 39 in the flex, 9 at captain. Then you get to Jimmy Garappolo, so he's only appearing 3% in the captain, but still 41% in the flex. George Kittle's an interesting play. Hopefully he gets back to old form in this game. He's 7,800, so that's a pretty generous price tag for what George Kittle could produce in terms of the ceiling game. He's 34% in the flex, 10% at captain. Van Jefferson is 27% in the flex, 5% at captain. His ownership may be a little lower because we have Odell Beckham on this slate, but Odell Beckham is projected to only get a package of plays according to Sean McVay. So Van Jefferson's still the actual starter in this game. So you really shouldn't see a huge snap share for Odell Beckham Jr. Should still be a lot of Van Jefferson. Hopefully something we can capitalize on. Jeff Wilson set to make his first appearance. He's only 1,200. We know how much the 49ers love him, and he's in the flex 21% of the time, 1.1% at captain. Tyler Higbee, 17%, 1% at captain. Trent Sherfield, 17%, 0.5 at captain. And then you've got the defenses. You've got Tony Michel, Kyle Juszczyk, Ben Skowronek is down here at 7.4%. I promise I'll get it right by the end of the show. Maybe I'm lying. So we'll go over to our custom lineups real quick just for a second so I can show. So look how many 49ers we've got in our custom lineups. It's all 4x1s. It's all 5x2s with the 49ers. The reason for that, while I jump ahead, is that you got Cooper Kupp here at 12K, 22 points. But then Deebo Samuel, 3K less, 20 points. Then you have Matthew Stafford here, 19.7 points. But at 800 less, you have Jimmy Garoppolo with 17 points. Do the same with Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson at 9.2 has 17 points. But you look at Elijah Mitchell, 6.4, 14.4 points. You can do it with Brandon Aiyuk and Van Jefferson. Brandon Aiyuk, 10.4 points. Van Jefferson, 10.4 points. Now, Van Jefferson is cheaper, but if you do that same thing with Odell Beckham, obviously Odell Beckham, 10.6 points. Are you going to play Odell Beckham with a handful of snaps over Brandon Aiyuk with, what do you have, 800 in savings in the same median projection? probably similar ownership. So this is why you're seeing so much of the 49ers side of the ball in the custom lineups because they're cheaper. So yes, they're being projected slightly less, but from a point per dollar perspective, they're better plays, and they're probably going to be less owned because people love to play the LA Rams. So the first lineup's going to be Deebo Samuel at captain. He's the best captain according to RunTheSims. So that's going to be, or sorry, let me confirm that. Yep. So 22% captain for Deebo Samuel. And then 18, second best is Cooper Kupp. So you've got Deebo Samuel at captain, Cooper Kupp, Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, Elijah Mitchell, Trent Sherfield. Next, you have Elijah Mitchell, a captain. By the way, that's a frequency of 25. The next highest is 17. That's going to be Elijah Mitchell, a captain. Trent Sherfield again. Darrell Henderson, Cooper Kupp, Jimmy Garoppolo, Deebo Samuel. And then we'll just do a Cooper Kupp lineup real quick. Cooper Kupp at captain, Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell, Van Jefferson, George Kittle, Matthew Stafford. This is a 3x3. Don't love going 3x3, but you do have the two running backs. I do love that. So maybe you counteract it. So you've got the Jeff Wilson and Elijah Mitchell stack. I will have tons of Jeff Wilson and Elijah Mitchell lineups. Head over here to DraftKings real quick and just look at a couple lineups. I built this one before we got on the show just to show how you could play 5x1 49ers and be unique. So I've got Deebo Samuel at captain, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brandon Aiyuk, Elijah Mitchell, Van Jefferson as my lone Ram, and George Kittle. I'm just hoping Van Jefferson gets lost in the mix. I do project him to be a clear starter and get a good portion of the snaps. So hopefully his ownership maybe is a little low. He's probably a little too cheap for his production. So I'm not sure how ownership's going to shake out on him yet, but I hope that he is a ownership saver. Another thing that I like to do is go Darrell Henderson at captain and then do mostly 49ers again. So Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's go down to Jeff Wilson. You got Jeff Wilson, and then you've got 8,200. Where do you want to go with that? I don't think I needed to go as low as Jeff Wilson because I don't want to go with Odell Beckham. And of course, I don't have to go with another Ram. So let's go away from Jeff Wilson for a moment. Try Van Jefferson again and see what 4K gets us. 4K gets us someone like Hughes Check. Jeff Wilson still you could go Jeff Wilson if you wanted to. So, I mean, you could go Elijah Mitchell here and leave a ton. 1,800 is not bad. So, Darrell Henderson at captain, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo, Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson Jr. It's another way that you can attack this. Hopefully, Darrell Henderson falls in the end zone one or two times, and you don't get as much production from the Rams side. Or if you do, they just don't equal the point per dollar that you're getting from the 49ers side of the ball. So those two lineups will show you how I'm attacking the slate. Last thing we'll look at is the projections, of course. Cooper Kupp is 22, Deebo Samuel 20, Matthew Stafford 19, Darrell Henderson 17, Jimmy Garoppolo 17, George Kittle 15, Elijah Mitchell 14. And then this is where it gets interesting. So you've got three players projected for 10 points. Odell Beckham, Brandon Aiyuk, Van Jefferson. Odell Beckham's all the way up at 7,400, and he's only going to get a handful of snaps. Now, he could end up being a nice contrarian play because everyone saw that quote that he's only going to get a handful of snaps, and he's too expensive for a handful of snaps. So if he's going to be under 20% ownership, he might be a valuable play because, one, maybe the handful of snaps goes out the window when Odell Beckham looks good and the Rams are losing. And then two, maybe he just produces well on his handful of snaps in this offense. Then Brandon Aiyuk is probably the least owned of the three. And he's right there in the middle in terms of price. So that's actually good as well. And he's projected 10.4. And he also goes with your 49ers stacks. So Brandon Aiyuk makes a ton of sense. Then you got Van Jefferson at 10.4. I already talked about him. Tyler Higbee at 8.6. You've got your kickers, your defense. Sony Michel 6.1. He's an interesting play, I guess you could say, but 5,000 is more than he's been the entire year. So it's going to be tough to get him in, especially with Jeff Wilson at 1.2K. And then Trent Sherfield is appearing in a lot of lineups at 4.1. Kyle Juszczyk's a favorite of mine to play at 2,000, 3.6. But with Jeff Wilson back, I don't know how much Kyle Juszczyk I will end up with it. But that's going to do it for today. Good luck on your Monday night slate, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace.